G'day, I'm Blxz and welcome to Distant Worlds Universe. Now, I know many of you out there are probably quite keen for Stellaris, which is coming up very shortly, and I'm looking forward to it as well, and that's why I have decided to jump into an old favourite of mine, an old 4X classic, Distant Worlds and the Universe expansion, which basically ties all the previous expansions together into one mega release for Steam. Now, I have already gone through and generated a world, or a game, and I'll be starting up. It's going to be a pre-warp one, because they're absolutely brilliant fun to start from the beginning. But I'm going to run through some of the game settings that I will actually be using. I'll be using varied clusters, and everyone's going to be pre-warp. Aggression's going to be normal, but difficulty will be bumped up to hard. I'm not a particularly spectacular player, but I do think that will provide enough of a challenge without crushing me into the ground quite so soon. The research itself is going to be mildly expensive. I like to drop it back to very expensive, but I think expensive enough will keep things moving. Space creatures will be on few because they annoy me a little bit. I think they're, a little bit of charm, but other than that, they get in the way. And pirates are very annoying. Now, they have their uses, so you definitely don't want to have none of them because they can be good for smuggling and bringing in resources early on. But they're going to be of an average distance away. They're not going to be too many of them. They're not going to be particularly strong, and we will be able to completely wipe them out if we so choose and if we become powerful enough. Now, the colony prevalence is going to be normal. There's going to be quite a lot of independent alien life out there in the galaxy, and I want that for a particular reason. This is going to be a purging run. I'm going to go through with an alien race, and we are going to exterminate every other life form out there that we can find. We're going to invade planets, move a couple of our species on, and then start purging the rest of them. Probably not a very nice way of going about it, but still quite challenging. Now, there's going to be a 1.5 sector colonization limit. This doesn't really need to mean anything to you, but it will mean that I won't be able to just colonize on the other side of the galaxy. We're going to be playing as the Yaga race. Now, this is part of the Distant World Extended Universe mod, which keeps everything at vanilla, but adds a couple of extra additional races in for fun. Now, there are quite a lot of them here. Quite a lot of races. A couple of them, like the Yaga and the Ilta and the Ex-Humans, have been added in just to, I guess, mix things up a bit. Now, the Yaga I like. You can sort of read through some of our stats down here. Very good killers. They make good fleet, more likely to make fleet admiral characters, and they're less likely to make ambassadors and scientists. So we may have a bit of a problem. They do have a special weapon, an advanced form of a phaser that they can use. And so we just go through. Corruption will be on low because I think it is it's a stupid mechanic to slow you down. I find tech level at pre-warp will be the most fun way of doing it, and we're going to be a starting size empire. I do believe it's actually possible to set up an old empire which spans up to, I believe, 20 systems or something at the beginning and still be pre-warp, although I've never actually done that, and your empire would fall apart very quickly because there is not every resource in every system. And as for the other empires, there are going to be a variety of them. I've tried to pick empires that are new, but so the Paratist and the Poor, the Lipids, the Iltar and whatnot, and a couple of the older ones like the Dayats and the what are they called, Ketarovs, and various people, and the Humans and Ex-Humans, which are basically identical but absolutely hate each other. But anyway, enough talking. I'm going to jump right in, and I'll see you on the other side when I've finished loading. And here we are on the, I guess it's called Eklamoy. It's an interesting name for a planet. I thought it would have been called, I don't know, something a bit better. But here we are. We are on what appears to be a moon around a gas giant. It's a desert moon. That's our homeworld, our native homeworld type. And we are in what appears to be a fairly isolated part. There is actually, if we were in this cluster, it would be quite nice to set up some colonies very quickly. But we are, well, we're a little bit isolated. We're not as bad as down here. But if we don't find anything sort of in about this distance, then we will not be expanding very much at all. But like I say, you can see each one of these is a sector, so I won't be able to colonize over here directly unless I make a chain and all the way up. Now, let's go in and have a look what we're doing. First of all, I think it's important to get our tax rate down to 0. That'll allow us to make our population much happier, which will hopefully allow them to grow quite a bit quicker. Getting our population up from about 5 billion now, up to probably 25 maybe. It's actually a pretty big moon, it's big. We might even get nearly as high as 30 million. I forget the exact limit, but hopefully it'll be good. And we're going to need to get some designs set up. So I would like the so take it all off. Let's put it all on manual. A big fan of Larry Monty. He's a Canadian LPer who does some pretty good Distant Worlds stuff, and I've taken some of his stuff on board. He plays with Expert, so I'll be doing Expert as well, at least for the beginning of the game. As things get more difficult, I may well put the AI in control of some of my things, but early on I will be controlling the entire lot. Now I realise I have been talking quite a bit and we haven't been getting stuck into it. But, ooh, give me a second, I can hear music. That's not good. I keep trying to get music down and keeps trying to reset itself. Now the reason I'm removing music is that I did actually start this LP some time ago. I got about 4 or 5 episodes in, one recording session, and was struck by quite a number of obviously false, what are they called? I can't think and read at the same time. Obviously false charges, copyright charges, and I managed to eventually fight those off. I did seek a little bit of help from the publishers of this game, however they were very, very slow, and in the end no help made it to me in a time that would have made any difference. So I thank them for offering to help. It just would have been a little bit better if they had not taken more than a month to do it, which was my response time limit. But anyway, we are going to need an exploration ship, there we go, state ship, an exploration ship, and a construction ship. So let's get these set up. I would like to call it the, let's go for an Australian theme, let's call this the Wallaby class. The Wallaby class Explorer. And what are we going to want on it? We are probably going to want a lot of engines on it. We have no warp drives, so let's stick a whole bunch of, I forget what the maximum size is, but a whole bunch of engines on it. That pumps the speed right up. We are going to need, let's have a look at these. There we are, hab modules. We're going to need at least a couple of these, and life support. There we go. Now this looks like an acceptable ship. How much faster can we go? There we go, 160 is our highest. Well, in that case, cruise of 50. This is our energy usage curve. Again, not necessary to know off the top of your head, but I may explain that later on. And we seem to have enough fuel, so that is a very good early exploration ship. We're also going to want a construction ship. Now this can be the, let's call it the kangaroo class. It's going to be a bit bigger, this ship, and there's going to carry stuff inside it, like a kangaroo in a pouch. Not that wallabies don't, but I'm not going to overthink it too much. Now before I forget, I am going to want a, what's it called? A resource profile sensor. Early on, this will help if I send this out instead of a construction ship. So instead of a exploration ship, because they can't be everywhere at once. So I'd like to get one of those in. We're going to need a hell of a lot more ion thrusters. So let's get, where are they? Right in front of me, but you can never find them. There we go, ion thrusters. Let's get a couple of more of these babies on. How fast are we going? 23. Is that because we're at our energy usage? Speed 14. Yeah, speed's going down, so let's take a couple off. Speed 15 seems to be our limit there. It's a little bit unfortunate. I was hoping we could get higher than that. How about if I put another reactor on it? Let's go find a space reactor. There we go, and it's getting big. Construction ships can be a lot bigger. They have I think it's a double multiplier on them, but they have to have a certain other requirements put on them as well. There you go, that's a bit more speed. 25 is a good cruising speed. You'll notice sprint is actually lower because we're throttling at the energy side of things, but they won't be using sprint unless they're trying to run away, and they'll just default to cruise anyway because that is a higher speed. So stick some HAB and life modules on. And you don't need to go through this when you play the game. You can actually allow the game to just auto create them. But early on, I think the extra speed, which is an extra 70 or 80% on what they had, will end up aiding us more than that. Now we're also going to need our first, where is it? State bases. Our first private space base. And we're going to call this the, I don't know what we're going to call it. Let's call it the Tasmania class. If I can spell Tasmania properly. Tasmania class, that is the state that I live in. That little island, it's actually a pretty big island, down the bottom of Australia there. So our Tasmania class small space base. Now, first of all, these weapons are going to be absolutely useless. If anything attacks us, we will not defend ourselves. It won't be pretty, it'll be a quick, bloody game over. And I'm actually willing to bet that no one will attack me, because if they do and I lose the game, you probably will not see this episode. So, if you're seeing this, at least guaranteed one episode has gone up, and I've survived. Now I'm going to take the labs off. Normally the AI will put research labs on all these. Now I'm going to make a separate building to allow me to more properly control my research. What this does mean though is we're going to have a very stripped down thing for construction. I'm actually going to put a couple of extra construction yards on it. I would like to bring it up to 5, so we can construct 5 ships simultaneously. And I reckon these high-tech and energy plants will be enough. I actually don't know what the capacity 20,000, what does that even mean? You know, I have no idea. And that's the thing, you don't need to know everything about this game. You can still play it, and we'll see how it goes. If anyone does know the ratio and how I can actually plan that out and figure it out, by all means let me know. But basically these things craft the components, and then the construction yards put them together into your ship. So I'm going to need, that's more than enough energy. Alright, let's finish that one, and our Tasmania class is done. We're going to need, let's make a brand new, it's going to be just a starbase. And it's going to be, let's call this the CSIRO. That is our Australian Research Agency, responsible for quite a number of things. They were responsible for, I believe, some of the channel hopping ability that ends up being in Wi-Fi. So they sort of helped predate that stuff. So they've done quite a few things. They're a pretty effective research agency, even if they are government sponsored. Fuel storage. I'm going to need a couple of fuel storage until we can get solar power. This would be our only source of fuel. And docking bay and cargo module. Is that what they need? Yep, that's what they need. Let's do a couple of those. That'll hold some of the things on it. And a docking bay. Where is a docking bay? Probably going past it again. There we go, right above where I was looking. One docking bay is more than enough. So we actually, all of these are red or orange. We don't have the resources, a source of the resources that we need to build them yet, but we do start with a good supply of everything. So this will keep us going for quite some time. Now this is going to be a research place. So I'm going to have 5 of these on. I'm going to have 20 of those on. And 20 of these. Now the way research has, you have a certain cap, and I'll probably go into it in another screen later, but this will allow me to control the focus. I'm actually going to focus a hell of a lot more on high-tech and energy early on than I am going to be on weapons. And I can always add more weapons labs, and while our total research may not increase, our proportion that we're allocating will change. Now we're going to need a little bit more power, quite a bit more power actually. These reactors are rubbish. And now we need more hab and life. Quite a lot more. To people to actually support. This is the staff living on the actual thing. And we can't build this out in the middle of space. It has to be built in a colony because it's so very big. But that should be more than enough for now. Now with that, let's actually start the game a little bit. We're going to want a... Let's build our small spaceport right in the center. And then we're going to want to build... you may actually not be able to see the bottom of the screen. I think it's been cut off, but there are a couple of buttons here. And I'm going to be building... Let's build, say, 2 construction ships for now. And then I'm going to want you to build, let's do it over here maybe, a CSIRO starbase. And that is quite a bit bigger than the tiny little base there. And with that, let's unpause and see what happens. Okay. Speed up time a bit and lock on. We're building a small spaceport. 39 components unbuilt. You can see it is plugging away quite well. So the people on the planet are actually launching things up and building this, but most of our ships will actually be built from the spaceport rather than from the planet. The exception to that are construction ships and colony ships. And there we go, looks like the reactors have been online. The whole thing's online. It's brilliant. So with that, just reselect it so it refreshes. I'm going to build a bunch of exploration wallabies. And I've got no more money. Gee, I forgot about that. I actually can't see my money at the top here. It appears this screen is... There we go, that's a bit better. Nope, doesn't work. Okay, it looks like I can't bring this recording screen up anymore, and there's a bit of a bar blocking out my actual money, which is something I'm going to have to fix in between videos. I wonder if I can... Yeah, I'll see if that worked. It looks like you guys can see down here a bit now, but I still can't see my money. Anyway, I am going to need to tax my people a little bit more, otherwise we're going to go flat broke. Let's do a comfortable 30% tax rate. That may sound like a lot to you, but this is Australia. My God, that is a low tax rate for Australia. And I'm now making 30 grand a year. Now, years go by pretty quickly. You can see the date up here ticking over. We're nearly halfway through the year. And see our planet is, or our moon is orbiting around the planet. And the planet itself is also orbiting around the star. So there's a hell of a lot of orbits going on. What we got? The construction ship has been done. Now, I'm going to take a guess that there is possibly our fuel source on this. Now, our fuel source will be Kazalon. So we're going to build a gas mining station over here. If it's not there, then, well, we might have a problem with no fuel. Possibly... Is there another? Yeah, that one might have it as well. We don't know yet until we explore it. But hopefully it's right here. It's one of the best starts you can get. Now he has a resource profile sensor, so we can... Yeah, oh brilliant. So Kazalon, this is our main fuel source. And hydrogen is useful for a number of things, but it is also a late game fuel source. You can actually convert your reactors over to, I believe they're more efficient, but they generate less power. So you have more of them, which means more weight, but the actual amount of fuel used per bit of energy, I don't know how it works, but you can actually have different ways of, different balances depending on the technology you go. Now let's get our exploration ships to head out and about. I would like you to start... there's something over here. A big gold thing, that's awesome. Let's avoid the space bugs and go and check out, looks like there's a ruin on this planet. So I'd like you to head out and check out that ruin. And our other fella is going to go... let's go down and check out Faris, whatever it's called. You explore planet Farisi, whatever. So they're going to shoot off. They're a hell of a lot quicker now. This one here, and we have ourselves a scientist. That is good. But they haven't built this thing yet. But they're starting on that now that we have our second construction ship. Now you are going to build a mining base here. What is on this planet? Oh, that's steel, lead and gold. Actually very useful resources to have. And they're pretty high, the lead's a bit low, but these are actually remarkably high concentrations. So it's good having this so close to our planet. Let's have a look at all the resources in the game actually. So there are luxury resources which we can get and help keep our people happy. Some of them are very valuable per item. But all the strategic ones are what we need. Certain type of crystal, lead, gold, chromium, aculon. I actually have no idea what aculon is, but these are all the things in the game that it is used for. So it builds a whole bunch of different components. We've got iridium, caslon, and so on and so forth. Caslon is not used for anything, it is primarily a fuel source. Let's see if we can find hydrogen. So hydrogen is actually used for a couple of items early on and even later on. But then you can use it as a fuel source as well, so you do have to be careful there. Now we need to get at least one, and preferably multiple copies, of every single strategic resource. You can see here the price, 1.8 is the highest that strategic resources will go, which means that there's a galaxy-wide shortage of this at the moment. Polymer, obviously not very high just yet, but believe me, polymer, carbon fibre, I believe chromium are some of the hardest to come across. So if we can get them, which, do we have any? There you go, there's a small chance that this will have one of those three. I may have all three of them, I don't know. But if it has at least one of those three, I'll be very impressed with that. They tend to happen on Earth-like planets. So this one is nearly done. And oh, we have here civilian ships being built. You can tell by that dotted line, and that's why I wanted to have so many construction slots on that small spaceport. Really get our civilian economy going. Now these guys will do it on themselves. They will go out and mine stuff. He's obviously helping to mine some of this stuff, which we need. And this one is done. So let's have a look at research. First of all, we'll put our scientist character. He is, well, weapons not so useful, but he's good at high tech. Let's put him on the Faris base. And have a look at our leader. I'm actually looking for names for my people. I have set up a bit of a list. If you want to have your name added on, I'm more than happy to rename characters and put you on, and even name stations and planets after you. But this person here, for the time being, is going to be called Blxz, because that is a wonderful name. And he's a pretty decent leader. He has no negatives. He has a couple of bonuses to his traits and a couple of other innate abilities that will grow over time, which is a very good thing. Now let's have a look at our research. I haven't really looked at this just yet. I probably should have started earlier, but we have 3 different fields that we're researching in. And this episode's going to run on just a little bit. I'm aiming for a half hour for this first one, and then I'll probably shorten it down a bit for the later ones. But we've got 3 separate, what are they called? Fields, I guess, of research. Weapons, which we are currently doing at 47,000 bits units per year. So just, I know I'm jumping around a bit here, there's quite a lot to explain, but you can see here our research base has a maximum contribution of these amounts here. Unfortunately, our entire empire can only handle 390,000 or 390 bits of research. So because this station is so high, it's then forcing in by the same proportion, and that's why I've got so many on. So we have a little bit of a bonus to a couple of our things from our people, but for the most part we're focusing on these 2 fields at the moment. Now I would like to actually cancel that for the time being and focus on beam weapons, so we can move into our Yaw, which is our weird cockroach people special technology, the Yaw long-range laser. We'll get that later. Actually, let's work on that now. Now shields are a very good start. I would also like energy collection, absolutely important. Will allow us to build solar arrays, and I'd like to get the upgraded fission reactor, a much better reaction. This first step along all of them is huge. It is a massive upgrade. All the others are more subtle after that, so I'd like to definitely get these first ones up. By then hopefully we'll have the technology to unlock warp drives, but until then we can't research it. As for here, transport systems is good enough to begin with. I would like to just continue doing that for now. No, actually let's cancel, that's a waste. I would like medical and entertainment systems to be done first. After that, this one is a very good get, because it will allow us to, instead of having to be basically on top, having a range of 500, we get a range of 8,000, which is, well, 16 times more powerful. So we'll be able to scan basically this planet that we're on and all the moons and stuff around it without having to travel to each one individually. After that, I think we will do transport, storage and crew systems, and then we may look at getting colonization if our population has maxed out by then. And I think that is a pretty good setup for our tech at the moment. Now our scientist will help when he finally gets to the Faris base. He will help us with weapons and I believe high tech as well, which is good. Let's keep things ticking over. Yes, excellent. Where are my... Oh, well that's a bit of a bummer. Shields has been reset right back. Looks like they are looking into the wrong field of tech. Now, where are my exploration ships? They are... There's one of them here that's not doing anything. Well, you can go out here and explore this moon. And I would like you to queue up this mission and explore this moon as well. And then you can queue up the next mission and explore the entire system. You'll figure it out from there. I'm sure you're a big boy, you'll manage. Now the problem of course is that over here there are a couple of space monsters. These giant Calters are pretty dangerous. Let's have a look here. We have Storehouse of Ancient Knowledge. Warp Field Precursors. We've actually found it at this location here. Now that's brilliant. That was very, very quick. Surprisingly quick actually. So, the 2 ruins in your system. Where is the other one? I can't seem to find it. You can tell it by those little dots there, but... Huh. Looks like I don't know what I'm talking about. I always thought there were 2 ruins in the system, but there's at least one guaranteed ruin that will give you the... Oh, there's a ship out here. Move to Death of Faris. One ruin that will give you the warp drive technology. So I'm actually thinking I'm going to... Where is warp drive? Is not in... It's in energy and construction. I'm thinking that I will cancel shields for the time being. I will leave energy collection. I will leave that one because we're going to need it really to give ourselves the energy to actually do warp field precursors, and then jump onto this very expensive tech. You'll see it takes 960k, whereas this one here is only 240. So this is a very expensive tech. It will take us quite a long time to get that up there. But as our population grows, our total Empire research potential will increase. Let's have a look at these worlds here. This is another good world. These. And, oh, that's got a couple of decent resources that we don't have as well. So we're doing fairly well here overall. And yeah, they came for the stuff out here and they're being attacked by this worm. That'll keep happening quite a bit. But anyway, I'm thinking of calling this episode here. It has gone on for nearly half an hour now. And we have so ship captain, brilliant. Gone on for nearly half an hour. This is the beginning of this game. This is the beginning of a new LP series. I'm going to be quite enjoying myself with this one in the lead up to Stellaris, which will be coming out in about a month, in which case I will be moving over... Oh, my character became corrupt. Be moving over to a Stellaris LP as well, so hopefully we'll have this one wrapped up by then. I would like to get this coming out every maybe 2 days, so it's a good cliffhanger. Coming out every 2 days, and hopefully we can power through the series quite quickly. But I have been Blxz. This has been Distant Worlds Universe. If you do indeed enjoy the content and you'd like to see more of it, make sure to click that little thumbs up button down there and subscribe if you have not already subscribed to the channel. And if this is not to your taste, feel free to click that thumbs down button. I'm not afraid, but make sure to drop me a comment and let me know exactly why you thumbs down the video so I can improve my videos and make them better in the future. And as always, take care and I'll see you next time.